before we begin, I say this to every guest. Is there anything that you want to share with us that nobody knows about you? Like a secret, a confession, something fun and silly, you know?
A secret. Okay, so something that's funny about me, and I just shared this in a staff meeting, that's why it's top of mind. Someone else asked me the same question, is I do not drink soda, and I never have, and it's not for health, it's not for religion, I just don't like it. So,
Okay.
which has worked out well for me, and I've decided as an adult not to start because that's worked out good.
Okay. Okay. It's funny enough, I gave up soda, but I still like the bubbliness of things.
Mhm.
So I have a soda stream and I drink like Topo Chico and stuff like that.
Well, that's funny.
All right, let's do this. Welcome back to Hello Henderson on Desperate Radio. I am Haas, and with me today is a very special guest. And she is definitely special because I've met her a few times, talked to her a few times, and she's always there at Tech Alley Henderson, sitting right by the front door, asking for a donation for a very, very noble cause for HopeLink. Miss Kristin Alves. Did I say your name correctly? Kristin Alves?
Fabulous. Fabulous. Yes.
Aviles.
It took
Let
me
me
some
do,
time to learn how
yeah.
to say it too.
Miss Kristin Aviles.
Fabulous.
My
Yes.
apologies.
No problem.
It's not a struggle with names, it's a struggle with my brain. My age is currently showing. That's what it is.
There's too many letters and sounds to remember.
My name is Hosni Rush. Have you tried to pronounce it?
I do not know how to pronounce your last name, actually, so we're in the same boat.
There you go. All right. So, Kristin, if I may, tell us who you are and give us a little bit about your background story. Give us your origin story. Who are you?
Sure. So I'm Kristin Aviles. I used to be Kristen Patterson. That's what I was born as. Born and raised in Las Vegas. Lived on the east side of Las Vegas. Went to Las Vegas High School. Um, After graduating, I joined AmeriCorps NCCC, which is a community service program that you do for a year. You get to travel. I was stationed in Charleston, South Carolina. So I got to travel around the southeast part of the United States with a group of friends who are still my best friends today. And we got to do a lot of service projects, and we got to see what happens out there in the world. We worked a lot with Habitat for Humanity. We worked with seniors. We worked with children, and just seeing all the needs that are out there and all the good you could be doing in the world. And it really stuck with me. And that's just the type of work I wanted to do. So, came back, went to UNLV for college, and studied human services, got a degree there. And about 2 months after graduating, I started working at HopeLink as a case manager. And I've been here for 15 years now, um, and have just grown through it with the organization. And we just continuously are growing and making new programs and being innovative and changing things so it never gets boring. And yeah, so now I'm here and I'm the chief operating officer. So I've just kind of kept working through. And yeah, it's been great.
That's amazing. I love those kind of origin stories because it
Yeah.
shows the human side of people growing and the community growing. Not, we do Tech Alley Henderson. We talk to entrepreneurs. We talk to technologists. We talk to business owners. We talk to billionaires and millionaires, or at least they claim to be anyway. I'm not
Mhm.
going to question that. But every so often we meet the real humans and the people that really elevate the community and Henderson from a humane perspective. Tell us about Hope Links. If for those who live under a rock or don't know anything about Henderson or Hope Links, what is Hope Links?
Sure. So, Hope Link of Southern Nevada, we're a nonprofit organization. Our mission is to prevent homelessness, preserve families, and provide hope. And the main thing that we specialize in, like we said, is housing stabilization. So, we are focused first on keeping Nevadans housed. So, we want people to never become homeless. If you are in the situation where you've lost a job, you've had an unexpected emergency, um, someone in the family has passed away, medical expenses, all those things that kind of set people over the edge. That's how it starts. And then once you actually lose your housing, getting back in is so hard because now you have an eviction on your record. The expenses of getting back in, trying to find a job if you've lost your job while you're out on the streets. I mean, it's really next to impossible. So we really find that it is most effective to prevent homelessness whenever possible. It's also the most cost-effective solution for the state. We found on average it costs us about $4,000 to $5,000 to keep someone housed, to keep a family housed. It costs the state $93,000 for each individual who becomes unhoused. So it's really important to support prevention work. In addition to that, when people do become homeless, we actually have emergency shelter where we can place people in families, specifically in hotels, and kind of support them and case manage and work with them to find their next permanent housing solution. And then also families who have been experiencing homelessness for a long time, we're able to get them into our rapid rehousing program. And then in addition to that, in tandem with our CareerLink program. So we get them in housing, we stay with them, the lease is in their name, but we help support them through that while they're getting back on their feet and connect them with our CareerLink program to help them find employment. And then we help them with their bills and kind of taper off as they become more stable and they're able to get back on their feet and they don't need us anymore. So that's us in a nutshell. Those are the programs that we offer.
That is so impressive. And one thing that stood out to me right out the gate was the fact that you say you tried to prevent homelessness, which, listen, I grew up rough, right? I
Mhm.
came to the States when I was a very young child. My mom and family, we had money, but then of course, when you don't know what you're doing, it all gets dwindled away. So my family and I have been on food stamps, close to homelessness in my 20s. There was a couple of times where I was couch surfing, which is a nicer way of saying I don't have a home and I'm too broke to go somewhere.
Yeah.
But I knew that that's not who I wanted to be. I wanted to do, get a job and get myself stable and stuff like that. So what I really like about what you said, one of the things that again hit me right out the gate was you said that we try to prevent it before it happens. I remember from a long time ago when I was younger and even in my 20s when I tried to go to people and ask for help, such organizations, they usually wait for you until you are homeless because well you're in a home so you're fine. I don't
Yeah,
know why you need help right now. Why don't you go get a job? That's what they used to say to us back
that's
in the
right.
day. So
That's
can
right.
you elaborate on that a little bit? Is that something that you do differently than other organizations, or is
Yeah.
this a new common practice or standard now?
So I would say it's two different services, right? There's services for those who are already unhoused. So if you're trying to get into an emergency shelter or you're using those types of resources, they want to make sure that you're truly unhoused. You truly are not going to have a roof over your head tonight to get you before they're going to put you in somewhere because otherwise someone who is out on the street could use that resource. But what we do is we don't let them become unhoused to begin with. If you have an eviction and you absolutely cannot pay that rent because, like I said, you had a crisis within the past 90 days, you lost your job, you had a medical expense, something crazy happened, and you can show us that happened. We don't want you to go over the edge because you're in a financial crisis right now. So we will assist with paying the rent at that time. And then once you become stable again and you overcome your crisis, right? It's usually about 3 or 4 months. Typically, on average, that's what we see, about 3 or 4 months that people need assistance until they become stable again. They're back to work. They've gotten that first paycheck. They're able to kind of maintain on their own at that point. So we just find it to be a short-term solution, but a short-term, it's not a short-term solution. It's a long-term solution, but it's a short-term
It's a little boost,
thing. We just do it quickly,
a little
and
boost, a
a
little
little
pick me up.
boost. A
Yeah,
little boost, yeah.
yeah.
You're less likely to need assistance again at that point. So, and of course, it's
Certainly.
all dependent on funding and what's available, but we do as much as we can when we can.
That's really wonderful. I want to go back to one of the things that you said. You were innovative, were creative. Can you tell me about some of the innovative and creative ways that you do things at HopeLink that maybe some of us are not aware of?
Yeah, so actually, it's funny because that's actually what got me started going to Tech Alley. I had met Lorraine and she told me about it, which was amazing. So we are trying to upgrade all of our systems. If you work in nonprofit or you work in government, it takes time before we catch up to the rest of the world, right? So
Molasses is a little too fast for government.
we use all paper files. We're still printing everything. People have to come into the office to sign a document. I mean, all those things that were just so ridiculous. So we had just gotten into really trying to upgrade all of our technology and make it a streamlined process for people who were looking for assistance. So for example, we're actually working with Automate Planet, who comes to Tech Alley. Alex comes to Tech Alley. You're a
Perez,
sponsor of Tech
yeah.
Alley.
We just
Yeah.
recorded an episode with him.
Oh,
It,
you did?
it's coming
Awesome.
out soon. We had to put on ice for a little bit because this
Yeah.
is, and I probably should have said this at the beginning. This is a special Hello Henderson month because we are celebrating women because of Women's Month. International Women's Day was a week or so ago. And most, if not all of our episodes are very much focused on women in Henderson and the impact that they have on the community. As a matter of fact, Tech Alley Henderson's upcoming event on March 25th is specifically about women in Henderson and women in tech. So,
Yes.
um, that's what and that's why, you and I spoke a couple of days ago and I said, I'd really love to get you on before the month is out. So I really want to
No, and
feature
that's
you in
great.
this month.
Yeah, no, I love to see that too. And I love to see the women in tech and everyone in tech. It's so fun. It's so interesting because the technology is all new and we're all kind of learning together, but it's fun to see what we can find out. But yeah, so I'm working with Alex to do an AI phone receptionist is what we have because we can get up to about 600 calls a day of people looking for assistance and we have one receptionist. So those calls, a lot of them don't get answered. And all they want to know is, how do I apply? What are your hours? Can you transfer me to someone? And they can't even get through to do those basic things. So we actually have the AI phone system handling a lot of that, not without its glitches, because we are still learning and we're still training. And it really,
I often make the joke that AI is like a college intern. You still have to check their work.
exactly. You still have to check the work. Once in a while, it kind of makes up its own mind on what it wants to do. But, we're working with it. And like I said, Alex at My Planet has been great too with that. I mean, just he really works with me to anytime there's an issue, we try to iron it out together because there are so many things that we need it to do. We're trying to make it be a human, right? Who can do all the things that we can do. And, it takes some time for it to learn, but it's been amazing so far. And in addition to that, we updated all of our workflow systems so clients don't need to come into the office. Transportation's a big issue and you need help right away. We can send you an email, you can sign some documents, you can submit your documents, you can upload your documents, and you don't have to wait until your appointment date and to come in later and to come in here and fill out paperwork or, oh, you didn't sign this document, so drive all the way back over here. So we've been really updating all of those systems. And yeah, so it's been great going to Tech Alley and hearing what people have to say, meeting connections in that space, and just learning a lot.
And that's where we met. And it's a great outlet, a great hub spot for people to meet and get to know each other. I would have never met you or known about HopeLink and some of the things. I mean, again, what happened to me when I was a child and what happened to me in my 20s was a very real thing. I wish HopeLink was around back then for me to uh, um, use and use their help and get on my feet. But I've
And
made
we
it
have
up.
to shout out Lorraine for connecting all of us because she's
Absolutely. I
yeah,
mean, she is
really good.
she's a beacon in this
Yes.
community. If
Mhm.
you don't know who Lorraine Art is, shame on you. You need to find out right away. If you don't go to Tech Alley Henderson, if just to meet people and say hi or just see what the community is doing, absolutely shame on you. You should definitely go.
Mhm.
So yeah, Lorraine Art. And Alex, shout out to Alex Perez. I am sorry I bumped you for our guest today, but I hope you understand. All right. So innovation, um, technology, upgrading your the way you do things in order for you to meet demands for people that are in need of help. Can you tell me, is there something that people in Henderson should know of how many people are in need of your services and your support?
It's more than you can imagine. Like I said, our phone is ringing. We track the calls now because of Automate Planet. We have the dashboard and we get about 600 calls every
Yeah.
single day
Yeah.
of people just looking for help, asking for help. And it may not always be rental assistance, it might be food, it might be mental health services, substance abuse services, that they're just looking for resources. It could be any number of things. It could be someone trying to escape domestic violence, and we're trying to find a solution for them. It doesn't even have to be the service that we offer that financially, but we can help you find the resource to get there. So people are call for all kinds of needs, but the need is really great, as you can imagine. I mean, the biggest struggle that we see right now is with seniors. Um, we do have a special program called Hope for Seniors where we actually privately fundraise for money because there's no government entity or anything funding it. We just privately fundraise for it. We've fundraised through different foundations and things like that because it's such a high need right now. Seniors, a lot of times their income is $1,000 a month. Their rent is $1,200 a month. Like, they can't make it, especially if they're on fixed incomes. So we started a program where we pay a percentage of their rent. If they're paying more than 60% of their income toward their rent, we pay a percentage of it, so that they can kind of stay afloat. And we help them with food and we help them with all the other basic needs, while they're kind of staying afloat. And while we're doing that, we're helping them find more affordable housing options because the wait list to get into low income senior housing is about 9 months to a year. So, you know, so we try to help them in between until they're able to find that next longer term solution because just getting a new job isn't going to work if you're 80 years old, right? I mean, you have to find some help.
That's a very eye-opening, to be honest with you. Help me understand. You said there's more than I can imagine right now. There's more than I would think. And are the numbers, are they growing now because of the current times or because now that there's a more awareness that HopeLink is around? Or is it a combination of both?
I think it's the current times. It's
It's the
the
current
current
time.
times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the need. The need is greater. Since COVID, it's been really interesting. I mean, the need exploded during COVID, obviously. That's where we really became a big provider in the community because everybody needed help. Everybody lost their jobs.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of funding available to help people. That's kind of dwindled since then, but the need hasn't because, again, prices have skyrocketed, wages have stayed stagnant, people are on fixed incomes. There's not options. Think about it. Before, you'd be able to find a one-bedroom apartment in not the most desirable area of town for $400, or you could live somewhere a little bit nicer for $800, or you could, live in a way nicer area for 1,000 or 1,200. Now, you don't that less desirable place, the one bedroom is $1,200 or is $1,600, and you can't.
I was just gonna say it must have tripled by now, but of course you
Yeah.
would be the expert, you would know. So I'd imagine it tripled since then.
But the
Yeah.
wages haven't. People's income are still kind of the same, so,
No, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. And
yeah.
I read articles. You go on LinkedIn, you see what's out there, and something about what do they call that? The peanut butter raise or something like where everybody just gets the same thing. Like everybody gets like a 1% or 2% raise or something like that.
Right.
So would it be safe to say that a lot of the people that you help out still have jobs, but they just can't afford things?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. If you're working minimum wage, there is not a place in town that you qualify for on your own. You know?
Yeah. Of
So that's hard because you have to make 3 times the rent to qualify for any place.
course. Yeah. Yeah.
So if
Yeah.
the place is $2,000, you have to make $6,000, which isn't easy to find, if you're just out there looking for a job. So, yeah, it can be a struggle.
And you also talked about job placement. Do you help? Is it directly through a Hope Link or maybe some partners? You help them job placement. What about like better career opportunities? Somebody that's in a minimum wage job that wants to get a job in, I don't know, as an engineer or a web
Yeah.
developer or AI expert. Whatever the case may, a lawyer, a nurse, a dental hygienist. I'm just using stuff off the top of my head. Do you assist with for folks that want to get out of wherever the situation that they're in as far as their careers?
So the main focus that our career link program does is we do get people into jobs quick, and we have a lot of employment partners, but they're livable wage jobs. So you're looking at something 18 to $20, $26 an hour, or something like that. Something that's not minimum wage. It's not the highest wage in the world, but you're going to be able to, pay your bills. Um, but then there's places like Workforce Connections and things like that where they have those training opportunities available. So we're always partnering with other agencies and other places. We have ongoing career fairs. We have career fairs every month where all the employer partners can come out and those different training options come out. And if a lot of them do it for free or on a low cost, or if it's a low cost, we might be able to help pay for some of the training. So yeah.
I think that's, again, the services that probably people don't know about. They call you up and they say, "Hey, I need a place to stay," or "I'm about to get evicted." And then do you go through like a conversation with these folks to find out what else they need? Maybe they're not aware that they can apply for a different job. Maybe they're not aware that they can find a place somewhere where they can do work, training or some sort of certification so they can elevate their career or something like that. I'd imagine those are part of the conversation that your organization has with them.
Yes, absolutely. So if you're enrolled in one of our programs, like you can't just come in off the street or call in and say, I need the Career Link program, right? It's really an extension of our other programs. So we have people obviously who are in dire straits, right? They've been experiencing homelessness or they're getting close to homelessness, and we've kind of helped them get out of that immediate crisis. So now we can move on to looking for employment. We have a little time on our hands to figure it out. So you do have to be enrolled in one of our programs to utilize the Career Link program. Yeah, but absolutely, everybody we serve, everybody that comes in, we are looking at what other options do you have? What are you currently doing? We do like to ask people, what do you need? We don't like to tell people what they need, And I think a lot of time that's what it is. You need to find a job, you need to do this, you need to do that. What do you need? What issue are you having right now? What challenge do you need to overcome that's preventing you from getting ahead or from getting back on your feet? So, yeah, we start there.
That is wonderful. I mean, that's really great. Like, there's a lot of empathy. I'm an empath myself, so I love it when I see, that there's that kind of human part of it or empathy part of it. Um, I interviewed Chrissy Bone from Henderson Lifestyle Magazine, and
Yeah.
she said something interesting about Henderson and Las Vegas in general, that it goes through seasons. Do you feel that's the same with your line of work, where with your type of participants or people that come? I don't know they're not customers, right? I'm sorry. I apologize for not using the right word, but like some of
Participants
your
is great. Participants, yeah, program participants.
participants
Yeah,
or program participants, do you
yeah.
see a season? That is it cyclical? Do you see the trend of something coming?
There are different challenges that come up at different times of year that we also try to intervene on. For example, Christmas or back to school, those kind of things. Right after those things happen, a lot of times people are coming in because you have children and you want to take care of their needs and you want them to have, a good Christmas. You want them to have a good school supplies. You want them to have the new clothes for school. So sometimes you'll see people coming in after that. Tax season might be a little bit lower because people have a refund. So it's like, okay, we're okay for a minute, or that they figured out another way, right? They didn't need the assistance because there was another way. Um, so yeah, like those kind of things. So in a way, it's seasonal, but I also know that, yeah, we kind of prepare for that as well. Like, okay, we know people are going to need help with Christmas gifts. We know people are going to need help with back to school. What are we going to do? What's the rest of the community doing? So yeah, we do try to figure that out ahead of time as well.
That's wonderful. What are some of the fun things that HopeLink does to help out the community, get more notice in the community? What are some of the events that are coming up that people should be aware of?
Yeah, so we do have a fun event coming up. It's a fundraising event. It's called Dink for HopeLink. That is going to be a pickleball tournament.
Nice.
Yeah, so if you're into pickleball, come see us. It's going to be June
We're
20th.
not. My family and I are not into pickleball. We'll say we played a couple of times, but we'll be there because
Well, you are
we
now.
mess
Yeah.
around with our girls, and our girls, like, we just have. There was a meme or something I saw the other day how some people take pickleball very seriously. With like the armbands and everything. I'm like, relax. I go there with my Crocs.
Yes. Well, you don't have to be too serious. It can just be fun, you know? But yeah, pickleball, 1:30 to 4:30, June 28th. You can go to our website to see more information if you're interested and want to register. We also are planning to have a big fall festival October 29th, which is just going to be a fun way for the community to come together. We want all of our program participants to come and just have a good time. But then we'd also like some of our donors and volunteers and people who are just interested in supporting HopeLink and supporting the people that we serve. Just come out and offer something, do a trunk for trunk or treat or do
Oh,
a craft or do
yeah,
something, and yeah, we're
yeah.
gonna be planning that. I think it's gonna be a great way for the community to come together.
Thank you for bringing that up. I mean, that was going to be my next question. How can somebody get involved if, you know, they're going by, they don't have enough money, but they would love to be more helpful? How can they get involved? How can they help?
Yeah, so you can go to our website. There's a volunteer sign up sheet there. So anytime if anyone's interested in volunteering, you just do that on our website and we will find something for you to do.
Awesome.
We have a lot of events throughout the year. Um, you said you have girls. How old are your girls?
They are 10 and 11. They're going to be 11 and 12 this summer. Actually, yeah, in about 3 months. And clearly, I'm not ready for them to grow up yet. But they act like they're 19 and 20.
Yeah, so I forgot the most important part of my story. I have 2 daughters and a husband, and yeah, my girls are 16 and 19, and yeah, I can't believe it. They've grown up so fast, and it does. 10 and 12, they're gonna be there any second. It goes so quickly.
I wake up every morning and I get like, the news, the weather, what I have to do for the day on my Google phone. And then I have the Google Photos app and it shows me, memories as part of my morning routine. And my goodness, shows all my kids when they were like 3, and I'm trying not to get emotional, when they were 5, when they were 6.
I
And,
know.
you know, it's cute. It's cute. But, you know, it's a different kind of fun. I always say this, girls specifically, I only know this because I'm a girl dad.
Yes.
Best age for me, as far as I'm concerned, for fathers, is when the kids are between 2 and 6.
Hmm,
Everybody calls it the terrible 2s or the terrible 3s. I loved them at 2, loved them at 3, loved them at 5, loved them at 6.
yeah.
Once they start having friends in school, I did not like them as much
Then
anymore.
you have to do other people's kids. No, I love the ages of, like my girls are 3 years apart, so, like, 7 and 10, around there where they're still kids, but they're self-sufficient, they can, you can take them places, they can walk, they can talk, they can you don't have to change any diapers, no tantrums. I love that age where they were just still kids, but,
Tantrums, I get attitude right now, the eye rolling,
yes.
the stomping, so that just triggers me very much. I'm a guy, like, I don't understand your emotions. I'm
I'm noticing
trying to.
yeah, definitely. I'm noticing with technology too, like, they know more than I do. Well,
Actually
they're very
trying.
impatient with me, like,
Yeah,
"Just let me do it."
yeah. I mean, that's a change of the times,
Mhm.
I think us as adults too are even our, uh patience has been shortened tremendously. I mean, I'm
Mhm.
almost 50 and I know things take time, whether it's watering something or cooking something. I do know that, but there's also, we live now in such a instant gratification world that even
Yeah.
I myself, if my phone is not responding quickly, I just get annoyed with it.
Yeah.
And it reminds me of someone once said something. I don't remember the person. It was on an interview somewhere. Said, "Can you relax? It's sending a message to space to ask something, and it's coming right back down to your phone. Like, it's doing a lot more than you think." So,
Right. Oh, yeah, it's like, "It's taking too long to answer my question." I
yeah,
find the main thing is I love movies, but it is hard to sit through a movie these days because 'cause you're used to these little short videos
clip.
and YouTube
Yes,
clips and things like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to ask because actually, we do actually try to get our girls involved in volunteering and being helpful and part of the community, because I do believe it actually helps with building character and your roots, and it helps you understand and appreciate what you have in life, and it helps build that empathy. I do feel like everyone is born. This is only my personal opinion. I do feel like everybody is born with that empathy bone in their body. It just needs to be nurtured. I'm being philosophical. That's just me. So
Mhm.
I'm asking,
Right.
do you have programs for families like with girls or kids, girls, boys, anything that they can help out that might seem appealing to them to do, or sort of like an outreach program for kids and teenagers to understand the importance of volunteering?
Yeah, so one program that we have ongoing, we partner with Three Square Food Bank. They actually bring food out to our site once a month. They bring us a large donation, and we have a line. A lot of them are seniors, a lot of people who kind of line up outside our building here to get food. And we pass it out and we have volunteers come, and it's a big undertaking, but it's done in like an hour or two. We just pass out food to everybody that needs it. They come and line up, and we get it out the door for them. So that's always a fun one to volunteer. I'm not sure what we're doing this year. We need to see what's coming up, but we usually do some sort of a back to school event as well, passing out school supplies or different things like that. And then we also do Christmas, where we do a big Christmas event. Actually, we have games and crafts, similar to how we're going to do the fall festival this year. And that'll be another one to get involved in as well, because where you have the community here, we're all together. It's not an us and a them, or they need help or whatever. We're all here doing it together and we're having a good
Yeah,
time. So yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
Well,
always a great
and
thing to get involved in.
that's really important, especially to me, as far as I'm concerned, for kids, is for them to know that you're part of the community. These are your next door neighbors, or your down the street neighbors, or
Yeah.
your classmates. You're going to be in a situation one day where you're going to want somebody to help you.
Yes.
You shouldn't they shouldn't have to think about it twice,
Right.
basically, if that's the
Mhm.
case. Um, what does the future look like, not just for Henderson, but for HopeLink as well?
For Henderson and for HopeLink, wow. So we are really focusing on, we want there to be ongoing support for, because, one of the struggles of every nonprofit, um, is funding. It comes and it goes. You have a limited amount, and when it's gone, and you have to wait until the next pot is available. So we really would like to see housing stabilization and homelessness prevention really be a priority for the state, because it is so much more, like I said, it's just more affordable for the state in general. And we would like to see that funded at a larger level, because it's really, it's such a big intervention, and it really can prevent so much of the homelessness that we're seeing out there right now. Um, so that's a big thing for us. We're just trying to make that happen.
Awesome. That's great. We're coming up to wrap up the show here. Is there anything that we didn't cover that you'd like to cover?
I don't think so. I think we did good. I think we got it all
Well,
covered.
make
Yeah.
sure how can people reach out to you?
Sure. So you can always call us and talk to Erica, our AI, and she'll get you transferred to our front desk to get you and connected with someone, or get you connected with me. You can just ask for me.
What that number is?
566-0576. Or you can always go on our website as well.
And we'll post a link on the screen. We'll post a link down in the comments below. Make sure everybody gets that information. Well, Kristen, this has been wonderful. You are a wonderful human being. Of course, I've known that for some time now, since I met you last year. My wife loves you, by the way, and she's so excited to know that you're coming. I think you met her a couple of times, and um, unfortunately, she had to go do something with the kids at
Sure.
school. Otherwise,
With
I
the
would have let her interview you. To be honest with you, so
That's a full-time
but
job in addition to the other full-time job, right? I mean,
yes,
keeping the kids
yeah, I
focused.
mean, I gotta go cook dinner before they come home, and
Yeah.
then they chop my head off, so
Sounds like a real life, yeah.
well, thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you so much for talking to us. And the next Tech Alley is on March 25th at the Pass Casino. Make sure to come and check us out. I'll be there recording Hello Henderson at Tech Alley Henderson. Kristen will be there. She wasn't there the last one, but trust me,
Be
she's
there.
there every
I'll
other
be
time.
there.
All right. Well, that will do it for us. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you like what you heard, make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, share with one person. You don't have to share with everybody that you know. Share with one person that things that they can use, some of the information that they can use, the help of Kristen and HopeLink. And maybe they're struggling. Maybe you're struggling. Call, reach out, and make sure that you get put in touch with the right people. Thank you again for listening. This is Haas, and this is Hello Henderson on Desperate Radio. Hey, that was great.
Good.
And lately, I've been off coffee for a couple of weeks. I'm thinking of giving that up too. And I said, you know what? Hold on.
It's
Drinking, support. Coffee, I don't support. Sorry. That's where I draw the line. No,
That's where
you're
you
not
have
going to
a
get my
host,
support on
right?
that one.
Yeah, that's too dangerous.
It's Kristin Aviles.
Fabulous.
My
Yes.
apologies.
No problem.
It's not a struggle with names, it's a struggle with my brain. My age is currently showing. That's what it is.